Okay, let's get into something really interesting today, happening over in Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
We've been looking at sources covering the whole debate around their voting age, and there's this paradox that jumps out.
Yeah, it really does. You have 18-year-olds who can, serve the nation in really significant ways,
Right, major responsibilities.
but they can't actually vote. It's striking.
So the mission today is to kind of unpack the arguments, the complexities, and maybe even the politics behind calls to lower that age from 21 down to 18.
Exactly. And Singapore's current situation, I mean, 21 is pretty high on the global scale.
One of the highest, yeah.
Definitely. Especially when you look nearby. Like Malaysia just lowered theirs to 18.
Right.
Indonesia's 17.
Yeah.
And, most advanced democracies, they're typically at 18.
And it's not just a theoretical discussion, is it? The sources we looked at point fingers, well, not fingers, but they identify specific groups pushing for this.
Opposition parties mainly. You've got the Singapore Democratic Party, the SDP.
Hmm.
Someone named Ariffin seems to be quite vocal recently.
Okay.
And then the Workers' Party and the Progress Singapore Party, the PSP. They're all advocating for 18.
So what's their main argument? What are they saying?
Well, the core themes seem to be fairness and empowerment. They basically ask, how can an 18-year-old be trusted enough to, say, be a counting agent in an election?
Literally part of the process.
Exactly. Counting the votes, but not actually cast one themselves.
Yeah, that does seem inconsistent. And the sources list other things too, right? Big life stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
National service, that's the mandatory military service.
Carrying rifles, national security.
Huge responsibility. Plus, getting married, signing legal contracts. I mean, these are major adult decisions and duties.
So the argument goes, if they can handle that, they surely deserve a voice, a vote. It gives them a stake, teaches responsibility.
Lets their perspective be heard. Makes sense.
But it's not that simple, is it? The sources suggest the public, or at least online chatter, is kind of split.
Definitely split.
Yeah.
Some people are clearly on board saying, look, policies affect young people's futures the most, so yeah, let them vote.
Logical.
But then you have the counter-arguments, concerns that maybe 18-year-olds are a bit too idealistic or perhaps lack, real-world experience.
More easily swayed by parents, friends, social media.
Yeah, that comes up too, that potential influence. Some folks apparently even suggested raising the age, maybe to 25.
Wow. Okay. Raising it. That's a strong reaction.
It is. And then there's this really fascinating political angle the sources bring in.
Go on.
It's sort of ironic. Whilst the opposition pushing for the change,
Uh-huh.
lowering the voting age might actually end up benefiting the ruling party, the PAP.
Wait, how? That sounds backwards. Why would lowering it help the party already in power?
Well, the thinking outlined in the sources goes something like this. Many 18 to 20-year-olds are still in school or doing their national service.
Right, often living at home.
Exactly. And they've grown up largely exposed to, well, state messaging. Think national education in schools, mainstream media.
So the system they know.
Pretty much. The idea is they might lean towards the familiar, the establishment, the status quo they grew up in.
So this frames the whole thing differently. It's not just about youth rights or maturity level.
No, it adds this layer of political strategy. Or maybe political gamble.
So the sources leave us wondering, right? Is this push genuinely about democratic principles and empowering young people?
Or is there a calculation involved? A political move that perhaps hasn't fully considered potential unintended consequences for the very parties advocating it.
It really circles back to that initial paradox, doesn't it? We trust them with so much.
Their capabilities, their responsibilities.
Versus deciding when they're ready for the ballot box, and you've got these strong arguments on both sides about readiness, plus this whole political dimension.
It's complex. No easy answers.
So, for you listening, after hearing all this unpacked from the sources, what do you think? Should 18-year-olds in Singapore get the vote?
Do you buy the arguments about wisdom and experience or the concerns about influence?
Yeah, or does the fairness argument win out for you? What's the part of this debate that really makes you stop and think?